I'm in Tuscany, in a place called San Quirico d'Orca, for a conference that's in Italy. And this is a very famous place where the Renaissance of Italy happened in the 16th and 17th century. Now, what is meant by Renaissance? A Renaissance is when the country renews with its roots, and there's a blossoming, a flowering of every aspect of life, of art, architecture, politics, literature, etc. Now, India, throughout the ages, has known Renaissance. The latest one was in the 19th, earliest 20th century, with great people like Tilak, Sri Aurobindo, and so many freedom fighters who had a yearning for the soul of their country, for the freedom of India. Since then, there has been a slump, and India very badly now needs a renaissance. Why? First, because Indians have become great copiers. If you look at, for instance, modern Indian painting, it's a copy of the West. There is very little Indianness in it. Architecture is even a more striking example of this total westernization of Indian art. Indian architecture today is a good or sometimes very bad copy of what was done in the West in the 60s and 70s. The same thing is true of literature. Most of your great writers, whether it is Mr. Rushdie or Mr. Seth, write in English for people who think in English and for people who have an English mentality. The same thing is true in every aspect of Indian life. So there needs, and there can be today under Mr. Modi, because Mr. Modi has brought a political renaissance of India. There is today a sense of nationalism, of pride, that needs to be translated into arts. There needs today to be a literature that goes back to Indian roots. There needs to be, Indian architecture was one of the greatest in the world. And today, even in villages, you see small houses which use, wooden pillars, and tiles and inner courtyard. There is a very ancient tradition of architecture in India. So Indians need to go back to their root, and we need to have a literature, for instance, that is Indian, in its roots, in its outlook, in its protagonist, and little bit started now. People like Amish Tripathi have done a series of trilogies which go and use Indian roots and mythology and characters, and which can appeal to Indians. So today in Italy, where there was a great renaissance, I wish to all Indians that you all participate in a renaissance of India, which is not only needed, but which will happen, I am sure, very soon. Namaste, and see you next time.